Anonymous attendees asking another interesting question. Sorry, anonymous attendee. More accurately, does all income generated under the name registered organization, i.e. W-2 or 1099, it's very specific, regardless of source, not need tax payments to the IRS once the contracts with the IRS are revoked? So if you have sent in a notice of removal of signature on those W-2s and those W-9s, a notice of status and a revocation of election, and you've effectually completed the process, and you put that behind an active state and you throw that to the IRS, there is no taxable obligation to the RO or to a foundation, because the foundation never was an RO, registered organization. So people that have a W-2 or meaning or 1099 that they received due to a W-4 or W-9, I tell them stop operating with the W-4 or the W-9. I tell people to stop contracting once you're out, because once you're out, you're out. Why would you sign another W-4? Why would you continue to utilize the Social Security? Why would you continue to operate on something that you don't have to? Now, that question leads to a whole bunch of other questions, which we've exhausted and answered prior, which is, do we file with zeros on the W-4? And the answer is, yeah, you could. You can actually have a sit down with your employer, and you can show them your paperwork. We can give you a document that will explain the fact that you no longer are using the Social Security number, that you revoked the status and use of it, and that you put zeros on the document and the paperwork. Now, that doesn't negate that because there is a Supreme Court ruling that if you are an employee, now listen to me very carefully, most employers don't know this, but there are some large employers that do. And that Supreme Court says that if you're an employee at all, whether you got zeros or social, and you're filling out a W-4 or a W-9, that not a W-9, but a W-4, that the federal income tax portion will be taken out no matter what. And there's a Supreme Court ruling to support that. That doesn't mean that Supreme Court ruling applies to a state of the union citizen. It only applies to a United States citizen. So there is so many would ifs or what ifs and variables at the time of when you become free, how to handle it. That's why we created the foundation. We say, stop using the social, stop using the name, and go everything through the foundation, because there is no jurisdiction at that point. Now, the next question people ask, and I've already answered this on a previous question on this show, is, are we required to file a return once we are done and once we're out? And the answer is no. But if you want to file a closing return and label as much taxes as you want, and do not send it with a payment, I have never seen anybody get arrested for making a properly filed tax return, and where they reserve their rights on it, they cross out U.S. citizen, they cross out taxpayer, and they submit that 1040. I've never seen anybody get arrested for filing a return. Doesn't matter if they give you frivolous filings, doesn't matter if they give you anything, because once you're through the living in the private program, you will understand why you have created basically a Kevlar level 5 ability of asset protection. Your assets are in the name of the foundation. Your home is in the name of the foundation. Your cars are in the name of the foundation. Your insurances are in the name of the foundation. Your rental agreements are in the name of the foundation. Everything goes through that. Your contracts with the California Edison, your contracts with California Gas, your contracts with all for your house go through the foundation. And you close your personal bank accounts, you pull your mailbox, you literally are private anywhere you go, because you have stopped using the registered organization. United States Postmaster receives a notice of removal of office of the person. The UPS store that you are receiving mail in care of the foundation name gets a new 1583 form from us to the UPS store. We handle every element of you being private. But if it were me, I would never use the social or sign a W-4 or sign a W-9 again. That is true privacy. Somebody trying to play, I'm the beneficiary of the trust and going in and out can maybe get their hand smacked at some point for playing those games or called to come out. A lot of people don't want to recognize what that truly means. It means you maybe not be an employee of that company anymore because they don't understand how to handle you. And there are some people that have had that, but I've also had vice presidents of major banks come completely in the private through a non-resident alien or W-8BEN form with their employer. Okay, so there's all kinds of ways to get this accomplished. It's just that is the gray area of what your HR department is going to be willing to do. You understand?